Hello, Ames traders, and welcome to our weekly recap. We already got at least 7R for the month of July. Already in this first week. It was a short week, too. The U.S. markets were closed for 2 days. So you would think that, I wasn't expecting much from this week, but 7R presented itself. At least, we could have even have filtered all of these losing trades. We could have filtered all of them and had 10R. If you were a stage 3 experienced trader with the banana. But just following the banana rules, 4 rules, and 2 indicators would have been 7R for if you were a beginner. Now, just as a reminder, so banana signal and seed entries are what we're counting here. Target is always 5 to 1. So at 2R, when we get to 2 to 1, we move our stop loss to break even. When we get to 3 to 1, we move our stop loss to 1R. When we get to 4R or 4 to 1, we move our stop loss to 2R or 2 to 1, and so forth. So remember, these are cherry-picked trades. These are hypothetical. These results are going to vary from trader to trader. This isn't financial advice. You are, at the end of the day, responsible for any trades that you take. That's the be an adult section. All right, so I hope you got it. So we don't give financial advice. We don't give, we don't tell you when to enter and exit. You have to do that yourself. Banana indicator will help with that, but at the end of the day, you're the one responsible for your results. So let's take a look at it. Great British Pound. Let's start off with that. Starting on July 3rd, which was our first trading day of the month. Nothing really happened. None of these would have been triggered. None of these signals would have been triggered. We got one maybe setting up here for Monday, but we'll see what happens there. Probably, I don't know. We'll see. If it was me, this is a pretty big move. I'd want it to at least come back to the 10 EMA before I take a trade because this move is so big. But that just means we'll see what happens. If you want to put an order waiting right when the market opens on Monday, or Sunday night, you could do that. But I'd wait a little bit, see what happens first. That's what I would do. But anyway, Euro, we got a couple of losing trades in the Euro. So nothing on the 3rd and 4th. This short week, holiday in the U.S. markets. So not much going on in a lot of places. This one right here, nice impulse move, double seed, but it would have been lost. Again, this is one that I would have filtered. It fits all the 4 rules and 2 indicators that we have for the banana entry, for the banana signals. Which you want to know what those are, take the course. So this, signal follows all those rules, but I would have filtered it because I do not like getting in on these tiny little bars or any bars right at the end of a session. Yeah, right at the end of the session. I don't like that. Because often it's like, especially on the currencies, they'll get several of these little small bars right before the session ends and right when the session opens, and they're just large enough to fill your order and then stop you out and then go the direction you were wanting it to go after that, right? So that's why I do not take these trades that are right there at the end of the day, especially on the currencies. So I would have filtered that one, but I still counted it, because it fits all the rules and filters of the banana indicator. So go ahead and count it. -1, that's a rent. And then we had another one here. This one is not great. Again, it fits the rules well enough, rules and filters well enough. There's not much of an impulse move, which is rule number 1. You got to have, I'm giving it away for free, oh no. But no, you got to have an impulse move before you enter. So, there was a little trend candle there. But if you were thinking that this whole thing, if you follow my mouse there, if you're thinking this whole thing, here we go. If you were thinking this whole thing was the impulse move, then okay. I could see how you get in that, even though, this move was the day before. That's why I wouldn't take this one, because, yeah, there was an impulse move, but it was the day before. And this is not really an impulse move. We'll count it, and that's what we counted and said that's another rent, another -1. We put it in the spreadsheet. 2 -1s on the Euro this week. Even though you could have filtered both of those for the reasons that I mentioned. So, on to the USD, Japanese yen. Just a couple of break-evens, really, in the yen. So, starting on the 3rd, none of these, just a big sideways for the first 3 days of the week. None of these would have been triggered. None of these signals would have been triggered. Now, this one was a nice one, too. That was a nice breakout and then came back to the 10 EMA, but signal wasn't triggered. Here, again, I wouldn't have been awake for this one. But if you were in Australia, maybe you could have taken that one, and it would have got filled, went to 2R, and then came back for a break even. Same with this one. I would have been awake for that one here in the U.S. Looks like that one would have went down, hit your 2R, and then came back up and hit break even, which, because whenever we get to 2R, or, 2 to 1, our stop always moves to break even. I mean, this is a break even we could have filtered anyway because this is right before news. It's not, again, that's not part of our banana rules. News isn't part of the 4 rules to filters, so that's why I went ahead and counted it. But common sense, and we tell all our students for trading the banana, don't enter right before news. And if you're in the trade right before news, just go ahead and get out or move your stop to break even anyway. So either way, if we would have got in it and news happened, we'd be at break even. So anyway, those would have been break even. Now on the DAX, German indices, nothing on 3rd and 4th. Now I did not count this one, even though it would have been a beautiful trade, because the EMA, the 10 and 20 EMA, are on the wrong side of the 50 EMA. So if you were a stage 3 trader, if you're further along in the process, yeah, that's a beautiful trade to take. But just following the curriculum and what we set out to tell our students to do from the start, we wouldn't have taken that one. So that's why I didn't include it. This one. So yeah, I'm not counting this one because there's not much of an impulse move. That's not really what we call an impulse move. That's just kind of drifting lower. It's not really what we call an impulse move. And then right after that, you can see there was news. There was some red news there. So for those 2 reasons, we wouldn't have taken that trade. One reason is a discretionary reason that's not in the rules and filters, but the other reason is the rule number 1, there is no impulse move. So even though this would have been 5R, I'm not going to count it towards the results. So now next, this one does qualify. So either you could take any of these 3, this one, or these down here, or this one down here, or this one down here, and have gotten 5R out of the DAX this week. So how many places? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 places you could have taken a trade in the DAX, and these 2 wouldn't have been triggered. So any of those places you would have got 5R in the DAX this week. With this one, we got an impulse move. And then it returned back to the 10 EMA, or pretty close to it, which isn't one of the rules or filters, but that's what we like to see. It's a good thing to see. And then we take the trade. And even if we didn't enter on there, we could have entered here. And I only counted it once because, we would still be in the trade and we wouldn't have exited at 5 hours here. So we wouldn't have been able to take this one or this one. Unless, if it's at 1% risk. If you're doing less than 1% risk on each trade, then you could have entered one or both of these until your risk reaches 1% as the total of what you're risking at one time. You never want to risk more than 1% at any time you are trading. Okay, so 5R on the German DAX, and then we got a -1. We got a rent the next day. Now that's a serious impulse move, a little climactic. We got to pull back. Didn't pull back too far. Again, this is one that I probably wouldn't have taken. We wouldn't have got filled until this bar right here. But, it's right at the end of the day. We've already had our giant move. For the German DAX, this is like night in Europe already. So I know from experience that it's just gonna meander around, little up and little down, enough up and down to knock you out of your position and then continue. That's what seems to happen when these sessions on a lot of these markets. When the session changes over. So. I would have filtered, again, this is how you could have filtered one of the rents this week. I would have filtered that one. But if it's all the rules and filters, maybe you could have filtered it by thinking this was a climactic move, which I could see as you saying it's a climactic move. But since we had a bit of a pullback, you could have taken it as a beginner. You could have been, you could have just taken the signal and it would have been a rent, and that's okay because you'd still be up for the week. So now let's go to the Dow. Nothing happened. None of these signals would have been triggered. This one was on, we're on the wrong side of the 50. This one was kind of nice. There was a little area there. Again, a more experienced trader probably would have taken that one. But if you're, that's a good one, you got a little bit of an area here. You know, it hit twice. So it hit here and here. So we got a little bit of an area there. So that could have kept you out, and that would have been very respectable if you'd have stayed away from that one because of this little area. But even if you did, that's why I didn't count it, because there's a little area there, and that's one of our filters. So skip that one, and then take the next one, break out of the area, pull back, boom, 5R. So you could have taken that. Well, really, you could take another one, kind of like the DAX, similar to the DAX, and that you could have taken it here, here, or here, and got 5R on any of those. But no, I'm not going to count all three, because we would have been in one of the other trades. You know, if you're in this trade already, you can't get in this one unless your risk is less than 1%, and the total risk adds up to 1%. So, but for this one, it's the hypothetical saying our risk is 1%, so just one trade at a time on this weekly results spreadsheet. So another 5R for the Dow, and then that was it. Nothing on Friday, and then on the Nasdaq. You know, we had nothing on the Nasdaq this week, or at least in the 1 hour time frame. None of these would have been triggered. You know, these on the wrong side of the 50 EMA, and then, you know, yeah, wouldn't have been triggered. That's it. So that's how we came to our conclusion of 7R. So, I mean, it was supposed to be, it was just a 3-day week here in the U.S. A lot of the markets were slow, but we still got 7R out of it for the first week. And if that was your risk was at 1% for each trade, 7% increase in your account. A $100,000 account, that's $7,000. $200,000 account for if you're with FTMO, if you're with Surge Trader, then you got about $14,000 for the week. Pretty incredible. This is a powerful strategy. You probably wouldn't have got all these trades depending on your time zone. You know, depending on if you have work, another job, if you have work, if you got family, life happens. So that's why this is hypothetical. But it's showing you what is possible with this banana indicator. If you just follow the rules, take the signals, there's no reason why you shouldn't end up positive. So thank you guys. Hope you enjoyed it. If you can see this spreadsheet for yourself. So you can check this out. You can click on any of these and see the trades that we counted towards the result. So you can check this out yourself. All you got to do is become a free member. It's in the link below in the description. So just click on it, become a free member in Ames. This part is always going to be free, and you can see the results for yourself. And you can go back and see all the results going back for the past year and a half. So this is the banana but the banana signals don't just work in one season, in one market, in 1 year. It's tested over multiple years, and it's continuing to bear fruit. So become a free member today. Check it out. Critique us, question us. If you got any questions, we're more than happy to reach out and help you out. Any questions you may have, reach out to us, and we'll get back with you. So thanks you guys for joining us. Like and subscribe to the channel, and we'll see you next week.